Jesus said to the Jews, "You are from beneath, I am from above. You are of this world, I am not of this world." John 8:23. In this video, I'm going to explain the three worlds, which are the two worlds of Earth, the heart rearranged, one of which is magnetic and feminine, the other electric and masculine. The third is the heart, which is the coming together of the two worlds in the middle. I'm going to show two ways in which we can look at these worlds, both of which are accurate. One with the earth plane in the middle, and the other with the air plane in the middle, or what is called Mount Olympus. This is my best explanation of what our realm looks like. Some of the details may need adjusting as I come to learn more. So this is what the model I showed, where the earth is at the bottom and at the top, and in between is the sky. So you can even divide this up into red versus blue within the two sections, the two worlds. So this would be the earth or the red, this would be the blue, this would be the blue, and this would be the earth or the red. But in the bigger territory of the overall torus, this is red and this is blue. And you have the black hole in the middle. Also, Mount Meru, which I suspect that you have the black hole at the top and Mount Meru at the base. And so you have Mount Meru is Ben Ben stone, which is a pyramid and it's magnetic. It's also Big Ben. So this is the flip side. If the earth plane is in the middle, and it's a very similar structure. However, you have the Ben Ben stone in the middle, which could show the four lands in the center, and then you have the sky divider at the poles here. Here you would have earth zone in the middle, which would be red, and the outer zone, which would be the sky, or blue. I'd like to point out that both models, the one with the earth plane in the middle and the one with the air plane in the middle, have the vortex widening at the base because it doesn't work the other way. But both models are valid because it is an illusion. It's like a magic door. This is the model of the toroidal earth that we are accustomed to. However, I have done a lot of thinking on this, and the way that it's usually presented is that the plane of inertia is at the core where this black dot is, and earth, the earth plane, would be in the middle. It doesn't seem to work this way. It seems to work if the earth plane is at the poles, which is where you see this here and this up here. And these are the tropics. So you have the I, an X, and an I, but you don't have another X. So this is the IXI. It's like an hourglass. And in the middle is the black hole, which is Uranus. This is what I think is Nibiru, or Planet X. This is what our Earth is supposed to look like, but it doesn't look like this. So I think what's in the middle is a light plane. Now this is the electromagnetic world, and for some reason our world split into electric and magnetic, which was the introduction of time. Time, timey. This is the cross. This is the I, tie, me, magnetic over electric. There still has to be duality. So in this, I've simplified it so that it doesn't get confusing, but maybe this is confusing the issue anyway. So I just took this model and then I overlaid it with the magnetic and the electric because they still have duality. There's still going to be, within this realm, there's still going to be a torus, and there's still going to be the red versus the blue. Same as this one. There's still going to be red versus blue. Magnets have polarity, as does electricity. So both realms are the same, but the mirror image of each other. And in the middle is something of a gap. So when they say mind the gap, this is what they're talking about. This is the gap. The black hole is in here. According to Martin Kenney, this is a black sun and our sun's the white sun.
We are all upside down. Everything is reversed in this side, in the underworld, in the world of Helios. The black sun is here, orbiting here. This is the black sun orbiting. This is the magnetic North Pole that links the two dimensions. Eden is here from our perspectives. On this side, we are here. Eden is here. On this side, it's still in the atmosphere, in the world of our tomb. But this is the portal, the black hole. Mount Meru is this hyperbolic vortex where you can flip upside down into the other side of the world or into the other dimension. In this hypersphere of Hyperborea, the black sun of mercurial dark matter, Mercury, Moon, the black sun, orbits the toroidal axis mundi of this dimension. This is the black hole vortex, the axis mundi of Hyperborea, Mount Olympus, Mount Meru. The black sun orbits around this vortex. Here, in our heliosphere, our white sun of atomic electrons of light orbits our toroidal axis mundi. So we've got the black sun and the white sun. The black sun in Hyperborea and the white sun in here in the heliosphere. Magnetic black sun, electric white sun. Inverse waves from the black sun. Transverse waves from our white sun. Yin and yang. Christ and Lucifer.
And I think that's accurate because I think that the black hole has black light and white light at the same time. A channel called The Action Lab shows how black light is merely less light.
So this black is not so black. It just looks black compared to this brighter light back here. The same thing that we saw with my phone and the bright background. One more way to confirm this is to get my head right in the middle of the black and look into the light, and it's actually bright. I can see it. So here's what it looks like in the white.
Notice the red light, green light, and blue light. The source light becomes green just as it is in a television and at the center of the rainbow and the heart chakra, the aurora borealis.
Then when I move in,
notice the shape of the green light. Shown at a different angle, you can see that it's the shape of the symbol for eternal life. This is the pearl or Venus in the half shell, the sun in the vortex nestled in the boat of the Milky Way. The White House or the lighthouse. The sun projects 8 petals of both red and blue, the red being more prominent and the blue being faded.
To the black circle, here's what it looks like. So you can see that black is just less light. Here's the white, and here's the black. White, black, white, black. So you can clearly see that the difference between white and black is just how much light is there.
And because of the split, we get the white light and they get the black light. So as you see in this model, you have the vortex going up and the vortex going up here. And so underneath this, you still have that vortex in the black. And then you have the overlay of the red zone vortex and the overlay of the blue zone vortex, which is necessary if you're going to have a sun. The plane of inertia is at the point where the light is created. So this has to be the point where the sun is. David Lapointe does an excellent job of explaining how primer fields work.
I believe that this magnetic field structure is an intrinsic property of all matter. Therefore, you cannot have a particle of matter unless these magnetic fields are there to form it and confine it. To further understand these magnetic fields and validate this new theory, hundreds of experiments were conducted utilizing a vacuum chamber and specially constructed bowl-shaped magnetic field emitters. When 70,000 volts of electricity is applied, the plasma formations that you are now seeing appear. A variety of purging gases were used in these experiments. This includes ordinary air, argon, hydrogen, and helium.
And here we have an excerpt from Bro Sanchez, who shows the horizon line in the OVO of the torus field.
A magnet under a ferrocell, and what you're seeing is there's LED lights around the rim of this petri dish, and there's ferrofluid in there, and they put the magnet on it and cut the lights on. When they cut the lights on, the magnet pulls in the light like a kitchen sink pulling in water. What you looking at is a black hole. The black hole is really a black pole. The light is being sucked in through the top and spit out at the bottom. And it's making an hourglass. When light condenses, it becomes darkness. So the black hole is actually made by all of the light making a braid. You see the top, there's a cone right here where you can see the light is being coming in right here, and that's what you're looking at. The hole right here is what you're looking at on the left, the hole at the top, and the hole at the bottom is right here. You see the little bitty horizon line right here, the horizon, and that's what you're looking at on the left. In magnetism, it's called a dielectric inertial plane. That's where the sky meets the ground and it creates the horizon line. Our Earth is a huge magnetic energy field, family. So that's your horizon line right there. And what happens on the horizon? There's a mirage. Can you see the mirage through the torus field right here? There's a mirage happening there. Guys, open your eyes. Our Earth is so beautiful, but this knowledge was hidden. You can flip this thing around and you'll get the same sacred geometry. Watch. Look at here. Now you can see it better, and you can see why they have the owl. It's the wise owl. Now this is the face of the owl looking at you that Drake know about it. Ovo is another way of saying Eve. Look, you're looking at ovo right now. Look, O-V-O, ovo. It's the language of the torus field. Look, people, open your third eye. This is a V in the middle, a vortex. And O-V-O, ovo.
I think that it is creating a light plane barrier, and this is projected outward into our world as the sun we see. So the sun on the inside is Venus. The sun up here is Mercury. Now the sun that we see, we call the sun, which is masculine. The sun in here is feminine. The sun they see is feminine because it's inverted, it's flipped. Okay, so here you can clearly see that because of the overlay, we have two X's. So now we have I, X, X, I. But also, due to the two worlds, the twin pillars are the two worlds. One is under the rule of the sun, the other under the moon, and the two must become one. This is the blue world, and yet they see red, and this is the red world, and yet we see blue sky. This is the female-dominated searching for the man, and the male-dominated searching for the woman. So you have the man and the woman. In one world, you had Adam, and he was created from the dust of the earth, and they took a rib from Adam and created Eve. And then in another world, they pulled the man from the ground and put his breath into him. If you're here, this is north, this is south. This is east, and this is west. East versus west. The Navajo explained the significance of turquoise as representing the second world. or the blue world.
The color blue or turquoise is very important to remind us of the existence in the second world. And that's the world before coming into this world, the turquoise world or the blue world. And it is that that existence that we lived in as spirit beings, we had to retain certain types of information. And so we still have that information, but it is that here in this life, in the third world, we have to wear the turquoise.
He said the turquoise world was where they were before entering this world, the third world.
And so the turquoise is always there to remind us that we came from a previous existence and the world of the turquoise world or the blue world. But the necklace has very special significance. And when we refer to it as it is thought of in a way that it is the umbilical cord symbol, in a way that it is a part of us.
The umbilical cord is the DNA cord or energy streaming from the black hole.
This particular necklace that I wear has two loops down at the bottom. And these two loops symbolize the male and the female.
These two loops could represent the upper and lower realms, male and female worlds of the infinity loop of reincarnation.
And these coral also have a very spiritual significance as well. When you look at the rainbow, the top color of the rainbow is red. And so it is that when we journey from this existence into the next world, it is on that red path.
This is why we are shown the red carpet at gala and celebrity events. When we ascend into the upper world, it is on the red carpet. And I will talk more about this later in this video. However, I've said many times that we have a choice to take the red exit or the green exit. Notice that the green is behind the glass, so the red is still inside the cube. If we want to exit the cube, we want to return home, we want to take the green exit. Next, I'll share a clip from a rabbi who tells of two hells. He clarifies what is meant by hell is not what is interpreted by the mainstream. He mentions two worlds, one of fire, the other of ice or water. He is referring to the two realms of red and blue.
In Talmudic sources and Kabbalistic sources, we have the concept of a Gehenna, which is the name in Hebrew for hell. There's a Gehenna shel sheleg, like a Gehenna, a hell of snow and ice. And there's Gehenna shel eish, a hell of fire. I think it's important for us to define what does the word Gehenna and hell mean in the first place in Jewish thought. What does it mean? Number one, the Kotzker Rebbe once said, when he was asked about what is hell and what is heaven, he said hell is heaven for people who don't know that it's heaven. So it's like coming to a place that you can't appreciate because you don't know what it is. So that's called hell. In that context, the whole thing is a completely psychological one and a spiritual one, not in any context of a objective space that's called purgatory or Gehenna or hell.
So the rabbi explains that hell is mental and spiritual, not physical. If the two realms of red and blue are hell, then the merging of the two would be heaven. Hell is not necessarily an evil place, but merely a lower frequency place where we are to work out our issues or karma so we can rise into a higher state of consciousness. In many films, the land of tomorrow is mentioned. This is the kingdom to come, and the rabbi explains this here.
The Rambam, when he defines Olam Haba is a Hebrew word which means the world to come. Which we hear, this world and the world to come. Which again, in simplistic terms, it means here's where we live now. Hayom la'asesam u'lamacher l'kabel schar. Today, we act and behave in this world, and then l'macher tomorrow, meaning at the end of life, as we know it, we receive reward in Olam Haba, in the next world, in the world to come. You hear that expression a lot, Olam Haba, the world to come. Maimonides says what it means, Olam Haba, in the Rambam, in Halacha, in his book of laws, Mishnah Torah, he writes that the Olam Haba simply means cause and effect. It's not a world to come as in time, that it comes later. It's a result of what we build here. Which means our actions create our heaven. And obviously the opposite is also true. Our actions create our hell. So in that context, it's really not some type of objective place that you just dump somebody, you send this one this way and that one that way. It's really we create our futures, our destinies. And how we behave today will determine and define what will come tomorrow.
The way in which we live our lives in this realm results in which realm we end up in tomorrow. We have future, present, and past. This is the future, and this is the past, and in the middle is the present. So we were talking about that before, where this is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and this is the tree of life. So the tree of life is present, is now, and this is the tree that you work out your karma on, which is, you know, the dualistic. We also have mom wow. So mom wow, you merge the two, and this is the symbol you get. You also get from that, you can see that there's a V and a W, which is Vivian Westwood or Volkswagen, and Westworld. We live in Westworld. So, as I said before, you got magnetic and electric, and they're both polarized. So you have the blue and the red in both of them. This is why you need the overlay, because I think they're both fake worlds, and they'll disappear once the two merge. Santos Bonacci talks about the two worlds. His model shows the earth plane in the middle. Here he explains how we move from one realm to the other through death, the door, or delta.
Death, because death is just the door to the ether. It's the door to the other world. Rhea is in the heart. She's the goddess Ra, the consort of Ra. Ra is in the heart.
Santos shows that Rhea, or Gaia, and Uranus, or Ra, are in the heart, or core. So if death is the door to the ether world, and we are in earth world, and heart is in the middle, wouldn't we want to stay in the middle?
So energy is expressed like this, you see. In Egypt, this is the sign of Aquarius. This is water. It is also matter, the mother, marine, maritime, Mary, matter, mother, motion, material. Remember, look in the mirror. Ran, Ma. You see, but Mars is Mary. Just as Adam is Madam. Thomas means twin. This is the twin. Red shift, blue shift. Esau's red, Abel is blue. Adam's red, Eve, our mother, the waters, is blue. Maritime, Mary, marine. So the twin, Thomas, when you put an a privative in front of a word, atom, that means no more twin, unit. The cause, the power of one, effect, the power of two. You can only get effect with two.
Here, Santos mentions how we repeat the cycle of 8, the reincarnation loop of going from one realm to the other, heaven to earth, which we ought to want to break.
You go down at the bottom of the 8, and then you go up to heaven. Then you come down to the plane of the earth, you do good deeds, you go back up to heaven. Then you fall. Adam and Eve, falling.
If you're going to continue to be reincarnated in either the moon world or the sun world, you would want to follow the moon pillar or the sun pillar. If you want to exit out, then you would follow the middle pillar. The middle pillar leads to Uranus, or unity. It leads back to the Father, uniting the male and the female. No one gets to the Father but by me, merging the M and the E. The magnetic and the electrical, the E merge and C. The black hole is Uranus, Anu. He's the god of the kingdom of heaven. The gyro soul. Remember, I was telling you in the video I did on triangles, sunflowers, and pyramids that sunflower meant gyro soul, which is Jerusalem, sunflower. Gyro soul means turning sun, sun turned Saturn. This is Saturn, and it's outside of Uranus. So this is the gyro soul, or the turning sun. and this creates time. So you have in the center is the black hole, which is like the pupil of an eye, and the pupil of the eye is black, but the light emanates from around it, which is like the corona or the eclipse, and this rotates. It keeps moving. That's why it's called the gyro soul. Gyro means movement, and soul means sun. It's the moving sun. So it has the black hole with the white light on the outside. I'm using this as an example because this is exactly how the gyrosol operates, even though this is a gyroscope. You see there's two rings and they spin, creating somewhat of a torus. You can see the spiral in the middle. Also, right through the core is the DNA strand, or the semen, or the C. This is the energy that comes from the black hole. So in this video, Wheel in the Sky, the mechanics of our rainbow realm, I showed how the sun is an inverted eye. This would be the black hole, only we're seeing it inverted because we see the white light on our side. The black hole and the steps equals the keyhole. So we have the black hole, let's go back up here, you got the black hole, and the steps creates the keyhole. It also creates the pyramid with the sun at the top. It's the hole in the wall. So you remember in Back to the Future that Marty drove out of the wall. He drove through the hole in the wall. 88 Lionsgate portal. So here, if we have this model, we don't have an 88. If we have this model, we have an 88, and the 88 gate is in the middle. So the only way to get out is to go through the portal. And so this is the Lion's Gate, this is the clock, which represents time. So in Back to the Future, the electricity killed time, and the triangle is the pyramid or the key to the portal to get out of time. Okay, so I want to show you what the middle looks like. And the only way, like, you don't get this pattern if you have a design like this. You only get it when you have it like this. This is the black hole, and out of the black hole emanates the DNA pattern I showed you in the triangle video. And this is the plane of inertia, and so it has a cross in the middle. And then the upper world creates this with this shape with the torus, and the sun up here. So there's, which also convinced me that this is the way that it has to be, because the sun would be in the middle, and then it would create another plane of inertia here of light. So then you have the torus here from the magnetic world and the torus here from the electric world, and when you put them together, it looks like a bird. And I'll show you images of these birds, and they're identical. So the natives, the double-headed eagle, this is the design that they're getting it from. This is also Jiminy Cricket, JC, Jesus Christ. Notice the top half is blue and the bottom is red, while the middle, his head or headquarters, is green. He holds an umbrella, which signifies the torus field, and the top hat is the ringmaster. The top hat has the ring around the base, and the top vortex funnels out up to a platform. In the story of Pinocchio, Jiminy Cricket dispenses all the wisdom to help him in his journey to become a real boy. This is also Romeo and Juliet's balcony. So we have these two suns, right? So we have the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and they want to come together through the Father. No one comes to the Father but by me. So this is Romeo and Juliet's balcony. So if you remember the story of Romeo and Juliet, they were the children. These are the children. You've got Venus on the mountaintop and Mercury on the other side. And they're supposed to come together. So this is them when they unite, and that brings us back to the X. So if you're familiar with the story of Romeo and Juliet, they were the children of the two warring families, And so one was red and one was blue, one was the Capulets, one was the Montagues, and the children wanted to marry, but they weren't allowed to be together, so they ended up dying so they could be together. The central pillar is also Jesus on the cross and Atlas holding up the heavens. Santos mentions it here. He calls it the Stavros.
Magnetism, to move. That's why mag, is moving. The Taurus is the Tavros. The Tavros is the Tau, this T here, which is represented in these wheels and is the symbol of Christianity and the swastika and all symbols. That's the Tav, or the Stavros in Greek, which is where Christ is crucified, on the Stavros, the cross, the pole. And this is the pole.
The story of Romeo and Juliet is reported to be the most romantic story of all time. It is the most romantic story of all time because that is the story of this world. It is the only story there is. It is the story of reuniting the divine feminine with the divine masculine. So this is the coming together. So if you want to look at a perfect representation of this in the movie Upside Down, it's a story of two worlds that mirror each other, and the boy and the girl, the male and the female, are trying to reach each other, so they climb to the top of a mountain to try and reach each other in their respective worlds.
And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day." Genesis 1:6-8. We tend to think that the firmament is the dome, but it's not. The firmament is the mirror. The firmament is what divides the worlds. The plane in the middle acts like a mirror. This is the looking glass.
I think there's a corridor here, like a barrier similar to this, that's in between, much like we see in Love is Blind. When they come out of the portal, there's a red carpet.
And so it is that when we journey from this existence into the next world, it is on that red path
In front of the Garden of Eden.
This is also the Zeus Canal. If you look at the whole torus and compare it to NASA's version of Jupiter, there's a band across the middle because this is Jove, Jupiter, Zeus. Zeus castrated Cronus, creating the electric world. He believed himself to be God, which is why he rules Mount Olympus. Similarly, Santos explains that the false god of this world is Baal, the father of the world of electricity, which is Jupiter, Jove, or Zeus.
They want you to believe in their power grid of electricity, Baal, the false god of this world, because electricity, the red and blue, is an illusion.
As I mentioned in my first video on the two worlds, the world above is the Olympic and this world is the Titanic. Jack and Rose, incidentally the names of Johnny Depp's two children, were on the Titanic, and Jack fell to the bottom of the ocean with the ship, while Rose stayed above and started a new life in the New World in New York. In my video entitled One Story Collapse, I mentioned the Titans falling to the Olympians, then show the story of Job as told between Hades and his brother Zeus, as they mention the underworld. They fell to the Olympians. The Olympians took over.
I created them, and they reward my love with defiance. There will be no truce. Finally, some rage from you. How long has it been? How long, brother, since you've seen my face? Hades.
Notice that the gods are in the sky and Hades walks upon the earth beneath. The gods in the sky are on Mount Olympus, which is the gap or the Zeus Canal.
Endless years I've watched from the underworld and saw your wrath tempered with love.
Okay, so this is how I see this is, remember this is Uranus, but then on top of that is Saturn. Saturn is the disc jockey. Saturn is Father Time. Saturn, he spins the ring. The gyrosoul spins the ring. This disc, I think, is in the middle here, and the stars come down here, and the sun is in the middle that is projected out here and goes around like a lighthouse. The same thing happens on this side.
All the planets and stars are inside the vortex and are projected outward onto the disk, which is like a mirror, and the wheel turner turns the vortex like a gyroscope. The stars reflect onto the mirror, and the torus gives the sky its dome-like appearance. This is why the stars appear to be underwater.
This is the black hole in the middle of the disc. This is the CD or the DVD. And this is the tower. So that was another reason why the other model didn't work for me, because the way they have it is that the land is like this. So you're coming out this way. So there's two problems with that. Any depiction of any character in a movie who is trying to escape the Matrix, say for example Alice in Don't Worry Darling, she goes up a base to its apex. Well, you can't do that if it's like this. You're going outward. That doesn't make sense. It's a mountain. It's not a V. So it has to be like this. The tower, this is the tower. Like every city, every major city has a tower. And that's what it's representing. It's representing the tower that controls everything. And when in Westworld, you have this tower that controls everything. And so here we have a mini tower, which connects to the sun. So you have the mini tower, and then you have the main vortex of the whole world. So you have the same thing on the other side. You have the mini tower connecting to their sun. If this is the Earth plane on our world, and we're trying to get out, you have to go up this tower, up the steps to Mount Meru. So this is the part where in Don't Worry Darling, she goes up the mountain, she gets stuck part way, she has to get out, and she has to climb up the steps to get to the headquarters. This is why headquarters, this is headquarters. So yeah, so this is the tower, the DJ, he spins the record, and this is the one ring to rule them all. This is what creates the story.
This is the model from the perspective that the Earth plane is split on the top and the bottom, and in the middle is the sky. What's in the middle is the black hole. And the black hole is energy. It is a hole, it is a portal, but it is energy. So there's black energy and white energy, and the two split because of the plane in the middle. In this short clip, Ken Wheeler shows the two worlds and how the two suns are created.
Everywhere you see light, you see magnetism. That's not my opinion or belief, that's just a hardcore damn fact. Everywhere you see the absence of light, you see dielectric. Now there are no lines of force. The conjugate magnetodielectric and the interplay between these two create constructive and destructive interference. The constructive, of course, is the magnetic and the lines here, and the reason why we see inverse spirals, inverse hypertrochoids, as we're looking at the superimposition of both magnetic poles upon each other, viewed in 2 dimensions on the ferrocell. or supercell here, actually.
What we see in the XX of the IXXI pattern is the result of the waves of dielectric and magnetic energy creating an interference pattern. This is what was shown as a ripple effect in the video explaining the double slit experiment. You can find that in the intro of my video, Parallel Universes.
So, and of course right here in the center, most especially, is the dielectric portal, if you will. Increasing inertia and acceleration, we actually have the center of the magnet. This magnet is actually a cylinder magnet. It's about yay big. There's obviously no magnetism here. There's high flux here, but this is dielectric. Now, if we take a look at the left, you can see my hand holding a magnet up to a dielectric discharge device, i.e. a large tube TV set. And what we have, actually those lines are a projection from a camcorder, so all of this stuff up here we can ignore. The only thing we have to look at is this huge black space here and this really, really bright spot in the center. Now what we have here is something that is the flip of a supercell or ferrocell. We have the inverse. Everywhere we have the magnetic here on the supercell on the right, we have light. Everywhere we have magnetic over here, we have the absence of light, because this is a huge vacuum tube, a 27-inch, by the way, tube TV set. Dielectric discharge device. Everywhere we have the black is the magnetic.
These two worlds are flipped versions of one another.
But at the center, which is black over here, because the magnetism is not present here, and that's why it's black, because this is the dielectric. But we have a completely different viewing device here on the right. We actually have a dielectric discharge device, and it accumulates, ta-da, at the center. That is this huge, and if you look closely, you can actually see it's a clockwise vortex. And if you flip the magnet around, you'll end up with a counterclockwise vortex. If you stop and think about these two images side by side, I took both of these, and what they represent, you should have an aha moment. It's black here because there's no magnetism. It's bright here because that's the dielectric. Both of these are the dielectric. Doesn't matter which viewing device. The center of each and every magnet is the dielectric. The outside is the magnetic. That's why we have the light out here, but we have the black here. Where magnetism is present, we have no light. We have no light over here at the magnetic because it's a dielectric discharge device. The magnetism is displacing it.
The black hole is the dielectric, and its inverse is the white light, only visible through a dielectric discharge device in the form of a TV. I have said before that we are inside a TV, or at least something that operates like one.
Over here we have no light in the center, the complete opposite, because that's where the dielectric portal is, if you will. I say portal, but we're actually talking about point of increasing inertia and acceleration. We have the point of centripetal convergence. And over here we have centrifugal divergence. That's why we actually have this bright light ring here, because this is the point of centrifugal divergence, and of course the transition period and the black hole there. But we have the exact opposite here on the left. Really, really bright spot at the dead center of the magnet. Dead center only. That's because all the dielectricity is accumulating right there. It's flowing right into the dielectric portal of the magnet. The point is, we have two completely different type of viewing devices. Over here we have a viewing device that lets you view magnetism. By view, I mean show you light. Over here we have a device that lets you view the dielectric, because magnetism is black, because it's a dielectric discharge. But since it lets you view the dielectric, really, really, really bright spot right at the center there.
Here Santos shows the black and white yin-yang represents the dielectric magnetic source of all things.
Is black source light, Krishna, dielectricity? Everything comes from the black. Everything comes from the spiritual, transcendental, counterspatial realms. Everything. The source. And it is black, and the force, may the force be with you, magnetism, is white light of motion. The sun produces this kind of light. It's incoherent. The laser, blue laser, red laser, that is coherent light.
The blue and red yin-yang shows the water, air, blue realm, and the fire, earth, red realm.
So here, this could be fire and water, but it's also earth and air. Blue is Krishna. Krishna's blue is either blue or black.
Krishna or Christ is blue or black. This is also Mercury, which is blue, or the Father, Uranus, which is black.
So if he belongs to the first trinity, black and white, that's the black and white yin and yang there, right there. Dielectric, magnetic, white. That's Osiris and Isis, and she's always holding a little baby in her hand. Horus, Horus, horizon, rising. Heart, heaven. This is the doorway to heaven. This is the Dalit. And then up we go to the blue shift.
The portal leads to the heaven realm or the upper realm, which is Eve.
Those that are being drawn down are Nephilim, the fallen ones. Those that are going upward are Elohim, the ones who are climbing through El.
Okay, so this is why Venus is paired with Mars and Mercury. So Mars represents the physical masculine, and that's the physical plane. So when you look at Earth merging with Mars, they become one, which creates the heart. So if you're coming from Mars, your heart is on the other side of your body. Here, our heart is on the left side. There, your heart is on the right side. And when the two merge, you create the typical heart image, because your heart is half a heart. In this clip from the Justice League, they tell us the truth about the heart being on the other side if you're from the other world.
You're going to find what I have to say very difficult to believe.
You're from a parallel Earth.
How could you possibly know that?
Your internal organs are reversed. Your heart is on the wrong side.
In my Venus video from 2020, I explained how the heart core is Venus, as home is where the heart is. And the sun and moon merging is how we get home. The higher realm representing the moon, Mary or Eve, and the lower representing the sun, Jesus or Adam. So the two coming together in love is Venus, the heart. VE or V or Eve merging with the sun, which is NUS backwards, and we are in the upside down. And so when the two merge, they unite in the middle. The gyro soul is already eclipsed. It's already 2 in 1. In the middle is the gap, the mind the gap. This separates the two hemispheres of the brain, but it also separates the male from the female and the two halves of the heart. The two halves of the heart have to unite, and the two halves of the brain have to unite. And Mercury represents the metaphysical plane. Also, when you merge with Mercury, Mercury representing the mind, Venus representing the heart, you're merging mind and heart. The two become one. So there's heart in the head and there's heart in the chest. All right, I'm going to leave it here before it gets too long and confusing. But I hopefully explained a few things. And there's likely a few things to be ironed out, but I think we're on the right track with this. If you see something that you'd like to add, please leave it in the comment section. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please show your support for my channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute. Contributions over $15 will receive a link to the Johnny Depp Dark Shadows material, so please be sure to include your email address. Kindly visit my website, subscribe to my backup channels, join the Discord group. All links are in the description box below. Thanks for listening. Hope you're having a great day. Bye for now.